Here comes the nasty gram.
Send a priest to save my soul, forget it.
Welcome back to the Nastygram RPG podcast. This is episode 12 of One Shot at a Monster.
Heart is the poison to the heart of a cynic. Redemption. Now I'm waking to
And welcome back. I'm Josh. I'm your Dungeon Master and your Dream Weaver.
Hey, this is Dean. I'm playing Sir Eadric Windmere, the knight who also happens to be a prideful wolf.
Hey, this is John. I'm playing Dr. Merrick Hoffman, Ace of the Skies.
This is Avery Colburn, the burrowing furry.
This is Matt playing Keeler Ulson, the snowbound snow leopard.
Nice. All right. So you guys pass through the second and third challenges of the test, taking on your animal aspects and evading your hunters in whatever ways that you could manage true to yourself. And then kind of tripping balls and having a bad acid trip of a terrible nightmare. And you guys went through and faced your fears and realized that the only way to do it is to do it the right way together. And your final phasing of the test, the final moments were interrupted by an attack in both the real world and beyond, as Arctogrim himself seemed to try to break through to this other place that you were in as you were completing the test, and you came to in a moment of alarm, finding that the zealots had physically attacked and had almost broken through. It killed your guards, and it was only Jan who was there watching over you, fought them off for long enough for more to arrive at the cost of his own life. A little bit of time has passed since then. The entire encampment and gathering was thoroughly searched, everyone inspecting for these brands to their heart's content, ensuring that there were no more. Indeed, it was 4, 2 from Svanheim, your adopted village, in a sense, with the fiery woman of Mauja, who is their elder, and 2 from Bronsoon, the other older woman, the Bronsoon, who in fact are also the caretakers of the survivors of the Vendites. That's where these tribesmen hailed from, hidden in these delegations. Since that time, you are also able to rest, a real, solid, natural rest. Your hit point loss has all been restored. The shamans have aided you as best they could, so any hit points, wound points are all back to full. Maybe still have that lingering arm issue, Dean, but time has passed, and you are standing at the end of this passageway, this lava flow river, and the 5 elders are there, the 4 of you, and back a bit of ways there are guardsmen, or tribesmen guarding, and you're looking out over the basin that lies before you as you walk forward and turn the last corner, and you see that this channel ends, and you walk to the edge of it, and you see that what there actually is some form of ancient caldera, the actual birth of or the former active place when this was many, many, many thousands of years ago. And it is massive. You can see the far side and the horizon, half a mile away or more. And the ground below is hundreds of feet below you, 400 or 500 feet down. Not quite sheer vertical, but extremely steep, nearly vertical. And you see a path cut down along the side. The tribesmen leave you there, and the 9 of you descend. And it's very quiet. The air is cold. You're very protected by the wind once you get down there. And it is late in the day. The sun has already dipped below the edge of this bowl as you descend into it, and you walk out towards the center. About 10 minutes of walking, and you come to the only feature in this flat plain, the Great Shelf. It rises up this semi-geometric form. Hoffman, you're looking for it. You're searching for it.
Yeah.
In the shape that you see before you. To most of you guys, it just looks like kind of an inexplicable plateau, rising maybe 50 feet up in the center of this vast emptiness. And you, in a single column, walk up along the side of it, a slim walking path to the top. And as twilight arises, you sort of naturally kind of form yourselves into a circle. It's still quiet. And the first traces of stars appear overhead. And there is a undeniable power to this place in every way. Hoffman, you feel a hum. Just an energy that excites you in a way that indescribable. Keeler, the impact of this place, of you being here, of you earning a place here as an equal. Everything that's happened here, every discussion, everything that your people have gone through, being in this place, the power of that moment and the energy here astounds you. Eadric, there is a nobility here. There is a power. There is something undeniable that kind of calls to you. Even you, Avery, so far from home, so far from the seats of the power that you have normally been used to dealing with, you feel it in this place. You feel a sacredness, a word that doesn't easily come to mind. The walls of the caldera rise up so high around you that it makes the sky seem small and close. The stars and the moon, as the moon starts to crest over, it feels like you could reach out and touch it. It's an overwhelming feeling. Hoffman, you know that this is a artificially created place. You recognize it being up here. This is built. This is an elder place. But everything you thought about the elders, you're starting to reconsider, because this is a place that you didn't think they cared about the things like this. But there's something, the sighting here, the location, it changes your mind. It makes you reconsider everything you considered previously.
It's almost divine in its placement, like a
divine, a significance beyond, certainly beyond the simple arcane magic and scholarly ways that you had always viewed the elders through.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize that maybe you just viewed them that way because that's
all we found.
That's all the people that approached them with. The 9 of you kind of sit. There are sort of spots with all the furs that you guys have brought. You're dressed very warmly. And this is the very next night. And there is much to discuss.
Do you feel it, this place?
There is a magic here. Almost everything we've known of the Elder is all from the ruins around the capital. A city alive with people, powered by these crystals and this magic. This is beyond that. This is sacred, divine.
I look up.
You catch Eadric off guard when you use the word sacred.
I look up at the sky and I say, "It's as if we're closer to the heavens."
The council members nod.
Eadric smiles. Because he's starting to get this impression that his friends have been changed. He knows for certain he has, and he's happy to know he's not alone.
Idar says, "My brothers and sisters, and those of you who are here on the shelf for the first time, welcome. This would normally be an occasion of joy, of sharing this place and this moment. But there is much trouble. We were to meet here anyway. We have the matters of our people to discuss, as we do each season. But I know that one thing must come before all others. We will let you speak, and we will listen, and we will answer, and we will help as best as we can."
Thank you.
Mauja, the younger fiery woman, she shakes her head, facing towards the ground, and looks up and says, "I was wrong. I thought foolish to trust outsiders. I thought that you would be a bane on our people. And I blinded myself, my own kin. I did not know that his influence had run so deep. And I did not know that any of your kind were capable of the strength that you showed to get through the test. I am proud. We are proud, not proud enough to admit that."
Pride. Eadric smiles. A funny thing, isn't it, Mauja? I've learned more in my stay here among your honored lands in the last few weeks than I have in years. Years, I tell you. From being home. It has affected me for the better. I can't describe it to you, but I understand your trepidation, Mauja, but your ways are beautiful. I look around and I look up at the sky and shit.
Indeed, it is almost a shame to hoard this feeling from everyone. But it must be said that the Octogrim, as you have seen, will not just be a problem for your tribes. The Octogrim will be a problem for everyone. And it will take all of us to defeat it. As many of us as we can get together.
They nod. Poali, the older woman who's the elder of Unvar of Keeler's tribe, she says, "We met and discussed, made sure that we were ready to share any knowledge we had of Octogrim. That what happened at the end of the test, none of us have experienced that. There have always been rumors. There have always been stories of Octogrim, of his powers of the mind, of his ability to cross into other places, of those in the past who've been foolish enough to follow him or to worship him, that those acclaim that he speaks to them. We think that he cannot simply enter minds, that he always had to be invited, that there was some sort of ritual or some sort of voluntary way that occurred. But he, and there are many signs of this, he is growing stronger. That attack on you during the test, yes, the zealots were here and they may have played a part, but this is a sign of even greater dangers."
Hoffman says, there were barriers put up to hold him. I think the years of us digging up the power of the Elder and using it for our own has weakened them. And in doing so, it's unleashing the Octogrim on the north, and if he gathers enough power, on the south as well.
The last woman of the Bronsoon, Anana, says, "His power grows, whether it is these elders or we always believed it was our brethren to the north that protected us. that kept Octogrim at bay. Not who knows what the truth is. If it was your kind, their kind, all of them. But it is ending. I mean, the brethren, either they the cause or they know it because they are gone to us. My people, my tribe, the Bronsoon, we are the protectors of the last of the Vendites, and yet even in my people, the traitors, these zealots you speak of, were found. Those who should know the risks, they also see the fools, see the potential.
It appears none of us are free from the corrupting grasp of Octogrim. We must all be very careful.
What the doctor said about Octogrim coming after all of us is alarming, but I think he's right. When we first came here, I thought that we were here to save your people. Riding in from the south to save you. I will never understand your people, why you live the way you do. It's cold. The floors have are mud. The wine is sour. But yet you all seem happy. And you find strength. We are not here to save you, but to help, to play our role. It will take different ways of thinking. It'll take the courage of the Order of the Black. It'll take the cunning of the nobles. It'll take the knowledge of our scholar. And it will take the constitution of your people. That is what we have that Octogrim does not.
Higdal, the heavy bearded man, says, "Well, then we are ready. We call for more warriors. We know he must be out there." He waves his hand to the northeast, past the Vendites lands. We go.
More warriors, while maybe helpful, in this instance, at this time, it would be useless. We need weapons to destroy him. We need the shield to, well, hopefully protect us against his powers. Once we have the weapons and the shield, then maybe we have a chance. And maybe we can use your warriors.
Adar says, "Yes, the weapons, that's what you think." He puts his hand almost affectionately on the ground in front of him. And you know, kind of rubs the stone, and he says, "You will get the power from this place?"
Perhaps I can feel the power, the magic that flowed through the elder race and through their crystals is here. And with that power, I can grant abilities to weapons that would render them useful against the Octogrim. Without them, your arrows and swords and spears will bounce off his hide.
We have discussed. He looks at the other members. We knew this is what you intended. And we are worried for our place, for it to change. But we too must learn to face new things. He looks at you, Avery. And we must risk this. We will help how we can. We ask that you take what you need. And the shield, Idar looks at you, Eadric. This is what you seek, what you are called to. You are not the first.
I understand.
And I think they seek you. Perhaps Octogrim has visions of his own. Where is this shield?
Trekulin.
Yes, 3 peaks.
Trekulin. Keeler, son of Uller, you will take it to guide your companions to Trekulin?
I will. And I will bring them back.
It is a dangerous place. It is avoided by our people. Cursed, it is said. In a land of ice, it is a place of cold and of death.
We will go, and we will return with the shield. There's something else I'd like to discuss.
Yes?
The visions that many here have had. Sir Winmere has seen this shield, a vision sent by our twin gods. And I look at Keeler, I say, and who has seen the visions of Dr. Hoffman?
It was not him. It was brethren. He is like us, but different. But I see now there is another half to us. Your half.
Humans.
Yes.
I wonder where this vision comes from. I don't know much about the history of Octogrim, only what Dr. Hoffman has told me, but it would seem that long ago the elves played some part in binding it. Perhaps they still play some part in this. Perhaps they are the source of these visions. Perhaps they act through us, through these communications. I think we need to learn more about Octogrim before we can face it. More than just legends and things we've read in books. We need to make contact with the elves.
Edar kind of eyes go a little bit wide. He says, you might find the ice elves harder to track down than Octogrim himself. We are brethren. We have been keepers of this place, and we have not heard from or seen them in over 3 years. They do not come to the meet.
3? I say that like really kind of surprised and confused. I say 3 years? I expected 3,000.
It has been long since we lived together. Once a year, a delegation. One member of the Ice Elves would meet.
It will take us some time to refine the material we find, yes?
Yes, I believe so.
And it will take even more time to get the shield. I don't think that given any amount of time, I would be able to track down these elves. We don't know your lands or your ways the way you do. But if you could, if there are any within your village that could find them, I believe that would be a great help.
We may try, but they live far to the north, where it is not as warm as it is here. He smiles at you. And winter will be coming soon. Its first few deep breaths have already been felt. I think you felt it coming up the mountain. We collectively discussed everything, the legends of what we know of Octogrim, the things you've spoken of. It's his hide, the fire that burns in his belly, of course, and powers of the mind. And it is also the roar of Octogrim has always been talked of in our people. Said his roar can cause an avalanche or cause a man to go insane, to lose his mind. The many the many voices of Octogrim. Many of these may be legend, may be chalked up to a tragedy being left on his shoulders. We will seek the Ice Elves, but I would not hold to hope. We believe that they have left our lands even further.
Very well. We will do what we can.
Indeed.
Let's we're gonna do a little bit of a sort of a time jump.
Yep.
Hoffman is going to be doing some digging.
Yep.
So basically some time is gonna pass as you work to find some of these crystals. You guys are all gonna level up.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
And also want this opportunity to anyone that wants to replace or add any of their motivations, merit, flaws, or bonds. I think we've had a lot of good story experience. So if anybody has any of those, we'll talk about the crystals that are found and if you have plans of what to utilize them for.
Yep.
So what are we at? We're anybody ready to talk about what their character doing?
I like level up stuff I have figured out, but I do want to think about my merits and flaws and stuff a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do some of that stuff before the next session too.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Same.
Jake, what did Avery pick up? You're fighter rogue, right?
I'm fighter 2, rogue 3. So I'm gonna add another level of fighter. And so fighter 3 means I need to pick a fighter specialty. There's not a great selection.
No.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Battle Master.
Would have picked you for a battle master kind of guy.
Yeah, mainly because it gives me a couple kind of sneaky type, tricky things to do in combat. But given kind of the way that the last couple games went, I'm gonna take a couple abilities that are kind of teamwork-ish, teamwork oriented. So he'll have a couple little tricks he can do with his superiority dice.
Cool, I like
for
it.
Battle Master.
Stats go up at all?
No, other than gaining Battle Master, I just roll hit points.
Oh, because it's not by total level; it's by class level, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'd be 6. So, I don't think 6 is a.
No, but it's also I think in 5th edition, it's not when you're a 6th level character; it's when a specific.
Right. Well, the proficiency bonus is based on your overall level,
Yes.
but that doesn't change at 6th.
Yep.
So that stays the same. So I just need to roll some hit points.
All right, John, what's the Hofster up to?
The Hofster.
Hasselhoff.
He just gets some hit points. He gets tool expertise, which means he doubles proficiency while using his tools, which I haven't done once. And he gets 2 new infusions. So I took Radiant Weapon, and what was the other one? Hold on. And Resistant Armor. So I've taken Radiant Weapon and Resistant Armor.
Okay.
While wearing this armor, creatures resistant 2 damage types. Wow. And then Radiant damage is +1 attack and damage, and you can make light and blind people with it.
Okay. How about Sir Eadric? Just
Not much with the fighter. He's not quite ready to take a ranger level yet. He's not quite Dances with Wolves yet. maybe next time. So I think I'm going to take a fighter level. And I think I'm going to take a feat instead of an ability score this time. I'd kind of want to eliminate that -1 intelligence based on the puzzling. But I kind of want to give him a little more flavor in combat.
I like it. Got something in mind?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm looking at Tavern Brawler. No. I'm actually looking at 2. I'm looking at 3 possible things. I'm looking at Shield Master, Skilled, or Savage Attacker, which is pretty interesting. And I thought, based on his little ayahuasca trip in running around in a wolf's body, that maybe he found something in himself. I want to represent his time in the North. This is if he survives. There's a very big change, I think, coming to Windmare's entire attitude. And I'm making a Dances with Wolves joke, but kinda, And I thought Savage Attacker might tie him to the land, this memory of running around the aspect of a wolf, and it's also really good mechanically.
I like it.
To be frank. So it's going to be either that or I'm going to go skilled and take some things like nature, stealth. I've been out hiding and skulking, hiding from bears,
Skulky night.
doing my shit out in the woods with everybody. So I'm
Sir Eadric Windmere, the skulker.
the skulker. So the skulldugger.
All right. Well, yeah. So some of this stuff, along with the motivation, merit, bond, flaws, we can have described for the start of next game. We probably won't get too nitty gritty mechanical before then, hopefully.
Fair enough.
Keeler?
Ranger doesn't get a whole lot. I get new favorite enemy and natural explorer improvement.
Okay.
So, Josh, one other thing I just realized that I get at third level, I get ability called Student of War, where I pick a tool specialty that I'm proficient with now. How long has passed? How much time?
John, what do you think? What does this excavation process involve? I mean, is this some fucking Indiana Jones shit, like in the desert? Like, is this going to involve like a bunch of laborers? Is it more surgical? Like, how are you knowing, obviously, the cultural considerations here?
Yeah.
And just kind of, I don't know. Do you have a vision of how this looks? You going after these crystals? Because some of that's going to determine how long this takes.
I think in general it would be pretty surgical. If the architecture that he finds is based on stuff he's seen before, where crystals have existed, he will pinpoint where they've been found before and can use that to reduce the amount of damage being done to the shelf overall.
Okay.
And in terms of the number, he would want, obviously enough to get us all armed and armored, with a couple infusions each, and then it would depend on how long it takes to get. Let's say it's 2 per crystal, so say 1 crystal for each of us.
Well,
basically.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as some of that stuff goes, like you have a crystal,
Yeah.
but we could say like one of these is like a much larger, like one single large crystal
True.
is probably everything you need to, it's a huge find.
Yeah.
Like one of these, like you just have a tiny shard of one and yet it gives you all these kind of powers. So, instead of digging through and all of a sudden you got like a half dozen crystals, maybe it's just one big one.
Yeah, and that's maybe why this place feels so powerful, that this was a main power source for them, or they use this place with such a large crystal.
Yeah, so I'll tell you, without defining too much about the Elder, this was a significant place to them. This is not like some obviously offhand.
Yeah.
This is a place of power for them as it is for the tribesmen. There's multiple, even if they're very large, there's multiple of those, but maybe just one of them for now is enough for, and maybe down the road, we'll see what Dr. Hoffman comes back to if Algrim is defeated.
Right.
So I would say, it's going to take at least a couple weeks just to get that surgical, plus whatever kind of infusions you have to do, delicate process. So I'd say, to answer your question, Jake, it's a few weeks, this process.
A few weeks. Okay.
And then it's going to be about a week of a travel after this that you guys are going to be returning with one of the delegations for the bulk of the distance towards Trekulin. So we're just going to kind of hand wave the trip.
Yeah.
Like a month is going to pass before we're jumping back into it, basically.
Got it.
A month. Yeah. So a couple weeks here and then a couple weeks back.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. Instead of taking a tool proficiency, maybe Avery's listening in on people's conversations and paying attention to what these people are doing and picks up Elven as a language.
Cool. Sure.
Nice.
I feel like he, I realized early on, I'm like, oh, I played a character that's all about insight and stuff like that. Yet I don't speak the language that is relevant to the situation. So I think he'd pick that up pretty quick because he can figure out what people are saying without knowing what the words mean.
Sure.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Now three of you, except for Eadric, can have secret conversations.
Huh?
And in terms of mechanics, do you want to just say there's 2 infusions per person for that, and I can hand them out?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, they're pretty much just like +1 weapons, basically.
Okay.
That's kind of the level at what all the infusions are at.
All right. Let's do it.
And one thing I was definitely thinking, I think Avery is definitely a lot less culturally insensitive at this point, having gone through all of this. So I was thinking about changing that one. That's my flaw. And I was thinking about, I don't know how we want to word this, but something along the lines of he's used to kind of a pampered lifestyle. So all this living off the land bullshit is just, it's garbage.
For the birds.
He's still not a fan of the way we're doing things, but he kind of respects them a little bit more.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe just pampered lifestyle.
Or like requires comfort.
Yeah, requires comfort. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I like that. We'll put the placeholder in. But yeah, we'll run through, start next session, we'll run through any changes or additions. Remember, you don't have to, some of them we might call resolved. And it doesn't mean that that it's not a part of your character anymore, but maybe some of them changed, but also maybe some of them like Eadric's still courageous, but I think we've gotten the story juice out of
I think so too.
Eadric being courageous, and there's others like that, I think, for everybody.
With Eadric, if I can, and if anybody has any ideas, I'm more than happy to listen to him. But I really struggle with trying to define one for him. His flaw, which was sort of the envy of the past, so to speak. It didn't really I couldn't really manifest it, but I think maybe his little trip revealed to him that it was in fact pride. But I also kind of feel like Avery, I might want to resolve that into something different too.
Okay.
Because I think he does have much like Avery. It's funny, we have a similar trajectory, even though we have our own stories. I think this place has changed him for sure, and I want it to be both good and bad.
Cool.
I want there to be a negative to come from that. Maybe I'm not sure what, but something.
Maybe get a little Tyson in you, a little savage. Bite somebody's ear off next time you get in a fight.
I'm gonna tear off his
There you
testicles.
go. Take a barbarian level.
I'm gonna tear off his testicles.
I'm gonna murder his family. I'm gonna eat his children.
I'm gonna eat his fucking children. My styles impregnable, my defenses impenetrable. Or whatever the fuck he
hey,
says.
you know what? You know what we haven't done for like 3 sessions here? We haven't really talked about awarding inspiration.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
I need like 5.
So I mean,
I'm
part,
all out.
part of
I
that
need a refill.
is what we're doing now is to give us more good juice for inspiration.
Sure.
But let's also take this time over the last few sessions, kick each other some points. What do you guys got?
I was thinking, so back when, before the test even started, I thought John did a very good job as Dr. Hoffman with the open-minded to new ideas, his merit of when we were talking about like the test and like, they do things differently, but blah, 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 blah.
I like it.
He was very open-minded.
No, thank you.
But
Cool. Anybody else?
I'm trying to remember what Matt's are, but generally speaking, I feel like Matt not only did he take some of the weight off, I don't know if this counts, but he took some of the weight off of your shoulders for his own fear and kind of just dove into it.
I like that.
And I just imagine this really cool scene of this. I just think it's pretty cool to think of this Keeler guy realizing that he felt this profound sense of loneliness, not just from his empty village, but from the lack of the outsiders that he's relatively dismissive of. And then there's this idea of rowing out into the ocean until he collapses and falls in the water and dies is pretty fucking poetic. I think that's really cool. So I would definitely throw something Matt's way.
All right, Matt,
Grazie.
take that.
Grazie.
Your guys' fears, all of them really, I thought tied really well into your characters. I mean, whether it was a motivation, a flaw, a merit, there was a big part of that. So on top of that, everybody take one right across the board for all that shit. It was awesome. Plus, like all the animal stuff, I think you guys did great. It was fun. I had very fucking kind of obtuse plans of this test, and went into it relying on you guys to fucking run most of it, and you did. So I liked it.
Right on.
Sweet.
And I did want to fuck you guys up a little bit more, but you got through.
We were pretty fucked up.
Yeah, we got pretty low, I think.
I didn't even realize it, and I only had 8 hit points left, and that was all psychic link damage, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It was. I mean, you got a little bit more. Would have gotten into everybody's HP. I just thought it would have been a cool thing if you guys came back into form and like you're physically damaged from this kind of psychic thing.
And speaking of hit points, I'm gonna roll. And here's why I'm gonna roll. I've got really low hit points.
Yep.
I need a big roll.
Who else is rolling? Are we taking averages or rolling?
I took average.
I'm rolling.
I'm a wolf.
That's a bush league move.
I got to roll high here.
What
Okay.
are they, D10s?
Depends. For
Ready?
you, yeah.
We'll go 3, 2, 1, roll.
Ugh,
I'm so scared.
3,
I hate doing this.
2,
This is against my better nature.
1. Roll them.
Oh,
Motherfucker.
Thank God I rolled
Okay.
A 2
We're getting
a 10. Oh,
it.
man.
plus 3.
Do you guys see that?
55.
no.
No.
Where's the fuck camera?
Where's the fucking camera? He can't find it.
There we go.
There it is. Oh, we rolled a 10.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. Matt and I
Two
both rolled
10s and a
10s.
2.
All right.
And
Ooh, I
John,
needed
lose
that.
all your inspiration.
Okay.
You know what? You'll gain 1 for not succumbing to peer pressure. No, I'm just kidding. Don't.
55. No, I take it back.
I take it back.
So that was a 10 minus 1 for me.
That's fucking.
Yep.
This fucking guy.
Brutal.
Like, hey, we're gonna have a game in the north. It's gonna be kind of this. We're gonna deal with the elements. It's gonna be kind of straight up monster.
Can I
hunting.
wear my
Cool.
slippers?
I'm gonna make a guy with an 8 constitution
Yeah.
who doesn't like fucking tribesmen and
You should
has
give
all
me
social skills.
You should give me an inspiration for that.
For
Out of my element.
Ain't that the truth?
for making the fucking DM jump
Fish
through
out of
hoops,
water.
for
Fish out of water.
find things for you to not suck at.
Oh, I'm just gonna play an Arctic survivor who's good in the snow.
Yeah.
Can I play a druid who focuses on winter?
Yeah,
I
right.
guess. I can turn into a polar bear. Fun.
I eat ice.
Yeah, it would have been actually would have been way more interesting if Matt was like a gnomish fucking
From the desert.
gnome from the desert, and
with
Dean,
a flintlock.
Dean was a halfling fucking cleric of luck, and
Sick.
you guys could all just died.
My catchphrase is feeling lucky. Oh, fucking hang me from the rafters.
All right,
Wasn't that your character back in the middle school?
boy.
he wasn't a half.
Back in
First
middle
of all.
school.
He wasn't a halfling. I would never fucking play a dirty halfling. All right, so on top of the infusions you're going to be giving people, John.
Yep.
That's gonna, I'm assuming, just kind of make weapons and armor +1, basically. Which, let's not downplay it. Is a huge fucking deal.
I think the only difference. So everyone, I'll say Avery, and you'll get +1 for your sword and +1 armor class. For Eadric, I'd give him the radiant damage thing, which is also +1/+1, but it you can turn it on as a light source for 30 feet, and if you get attacked, you can expend a charge to cause someone to be blinded. DC 14, and you have like 4 charges of that, and it recharges.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And also the resistant armor, which probably resists fire because that makes the most sense against the Octogrim. So you have resist fire.
So I can resist fire.
So anyway, what I was saying, so maybe we'll run over these, like the weapons and
Next
armor next time, because
Okay. Oh, sorry.
I also want to, on top of that, one, I don't know, they still call them wondrous items, right? Like the basically just any other kind of, anything that's not a weapon or armor.
Yeah,
Like,
so.
your fucking boots of elvenkind, that kind of
Staff of
shit.
the Magi.
One per person. So take the time, look through it. I don't really care.
Like we look through it ourselves, or
Yeah.
Okay.
You look through it,
Are you telling me to go wondrous item shopping?
basically.
That sounds like fun.
caveat being, I'm not going to set like a price limit or whatever. Obviously nothing game breaking,
Like the +5 Holy Avenger?
but it should be something specific that either really suits the character really well or really suits this quest you're on,
Cool.
or kind of both.
Yeah, wondrous items are generally not weapons. They're usually like weird trinkety things.
Right.
Yeah.
And like keep it like kind of low fantasy-ish.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like not a ring of like fireballs or whatever. I don't know if that's the thing.
I think so.
Probably.
So, and we'll go over that start next time.
Sphere
Cool,
of Annihilation.
So you guys, after several weeks of careful and delicate digging, with the assistance of some more crafty type tribesmen, do extricate by far the largest Tathazine crystal you've ever seen. It is probably 2 feet long, 6 inches around. Even anyone untrained, if you come within a couple dozen feet of it, it's, imagine a subwoofer that could go below the range of human hearing, just cranked, where you just like feel this thing in your chest if you come into the same the brown note.
Brown note.
A brown note. You'll make Octogrim shit himself.
The ultimate
That's the
weapon.
secret. Just wait until he's dehydrated. You begin tapping into its power on your with your companions, giving them these enhancements. Some of it takes more study, and some of it will take place as you travel. The tribes depart. The delegations going their different ways, and all agreeing to meet again and to assemble their warriors if needed, and to be ready to support you guys in this quest. All the council members personally kind of say their words with each of you. Some of these guys you've grown more close with. Some, at the minimum, a grudging respect both ways, even with some of these more abrasive types like Mauja and Hegdal. And some you're genuinely misparting company. I think Eadric has a real soft spot for Idar. So, father figure. And you guys depart with Poali and the delegation of Undvar. You travel down the western side of the island of Alisund and travel by ship back to Undvar. Matt, you won't be staying here long, but tell us, what does the island of Undvar look like? We've seen Bergenheim, obviously, and then we've seen Sveinheim as far as a village of the tribes. How is Undvar different? The island or the village itself?
Undvar is another one of the older islands. There's no big craggy peak anymore. It's actually a much softer, rolling sort of landscape that actually has plants and stuff on it. It's actually a greener island. The villages are a lot less, stony. It actually, I guess you'd say it looks a little bit more like Hobbiton would in Tolkien.
Nice.
Like sort of built into the hillsides and the grassy knolls. There's some purple flowers blooming in the late fall, early winter, just as the last of the light is coming through, and it actually looks pretty idyllic and not like any of the other islands you would think of in this area.
Nice. So you guys sail into the small port of the village of Undvar. You spend just one night here before pressing on. Not a party like the last time we were in Svarnheim, but there is a gathering. You brought the body of Jan back with you. You had asked Mauja as the elder of Svanheim, and she agreed that Keeler and the new companions should take him back to Unvar. And you do the same kind of ceremony. It's a little bit less of a celebratory feast, but you do get to speak of Jan and to meet a bit of people of the village and have one night under a roof again for Avery before you set back out. Give you guys a moment to recharge the batteries. And pretty quickly, the next day comes, and a ship is going to be bringing you as close as it can to Tregkulin, to the northwest. And you depart. It's several days of sailing. There's some long passages of open ocean, many smaller islands, and on the third day, the ship's master brings the ship, runs it aground on a very small, nondescript island. You all step out and hop off the side of the ship, get your bearings a bit, and a couple canoes are that have been towed behind the ship are brought over, and provisions are loaded on. The master of the ship looks at the four of you and says, "We can go no farther, but this is as close as a ship can get." It's cold everywhere in the north, of course, but you feel a sting in the air. I mean, there's no storm or anything like that. It's a fairly clear day. There's a light breeze, but I mean, it's cold here. So cold that, the insides of your nostrils kind of sting every time you bring air in. And the master of the ship brings forth these four jars, sealed jars. And he says, this is a gift of Poali for you. This is frostbane. It will not last more than half a day. Wait until you cannot bear it.
Very well, thank you.
We will wait here for 4 days if you are to return.
Eadric is going to wrap his face up instead of leaving it exposed.
Okay. How's your seal fat inventory, Matt?
I'm fully stocked up.
Fully stocked. All right.
They were not kidding about how cold it is.
Avery hops off the boat, and I see what Sir Windmere is doing, and I say, not a bad idea. I rip off the bottom of my fine cloak and wrap it around my face.
All right.
I assume we have cloaks and cowls and stuff
Yep.
at this point.
You guys are well equipped for the north by now, except for, well, especially when it's covered up, that fancy armor Avery and Eadric have. From a distance, you guys look more like tribesmen than people of the south by now. And it's a good thing, because this is not a land for those soft southerners. You guys load into these 2 canoes, each with a couple packs of extra gear, and you push back out into the ocean. As you've been getting here, already ice flowed regularly around the ship, and as you row to the northwest, it quickly becomes thicker and thicker. Soon, within a few hours, instead of going around chunks of floating ice, you're navigating passages through sheets of it. And you carry on this way until later in the day, late afternoon, when finally you run out of water. And it is just sheet ice ahead of you. You haul the canoes up onto the ice, help each other up and on. You feel it creak under you. It's a very disconcerting feeling. And it is unbearably cold. Every breath, even through layers, still kind of burns in your chest. Your ice freezes up on your eyelids and eyeballs, and every once in a while you just have to close your eyes and kind of rub it, and just let your eyeballs themselves warm up. It's so fucking cold. You keep your hands in a ball inside of your gloves.
As soon as I get onto the ice and I feel it creak, I move away from Windmere, assuming that me and him are with our armor are definitely the heaviest ones.
Yep.
I move away from him, and I take my pack off and I start rummaging through, and I get that silk rope, and I say, Eadric, I toss an end of it to you. I say, you take.
I reluctantly take my hand out of my furs.
So you take point. I'll take the rear. We should all tie off.
Is it safe to say my spears and pike were replaced since the narwhal incident?
Yes, absolutely.
Narwhal?
I forget what it's
With
called.
pride, we could have really fucking role played up a storm with it with the
With the shopping
with
experience.
with all that shit. But yeah, the your fellow councilmen and their representative tribes were happy to contribute anything. So you have some well-made weapons of the North.
Good. I'm going to slide a spear back. I only have two towards Avery, and then I'm going to take out my pike as I am on point, and I'm going to hold it just horizontally across my body. If the ice gives out, I want to fucking boom, land on the pike as it goes way out across.
I like it. Nice.
You know what I mean?
I'm guessing that in a younger age you did that with your hockey stick.
I did a couple times. So yeah, that's what I do, and I'm assuming they'll pick up on what I'm trying to. I only got two spears, so they'll have to
I
figure out who.
don't do that.
maybe the rear guy and the next guy, maybe the middle guy.
If anyone's going in, it's probably one of us with our fucking giant
Absolutely.
plate mail.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I follow suit.
It's almost like I'm tightrope walking, but I'm not.
Okay.
It's cold, it's sucky, but I'm still doing it.
Okay. You guys start marching, and the sun is getting low in the sky. It's dusk, and ahead you make out through the last light of the day the three peaks of Tregkulin.
By God. By the twins.
They're staggered of different heights, so it kind of looks like one high, medium, and lower. Highest in the center, a little lower to the left, lowest to the right, but they're dramatic. They're very sharp. Picture those again. Those Skellig Islands, like the islands from the new shitty Star Wars movies.
One
Doesn't
star. What?
Doesn't look like
How dare
anything
you.
to me. I'm like Bernard in Westworld. I don't even know what you're talking about.
And it's getting dark.
We need to make it across. We need some sort of shelter.
We're going.
Keep moving.
Walk.
There's no protection here.
Walk.
All right.
Can't start a fire on the ice. We'll have to find solid land.
All right, you guys push on. You were very well rested, at least to go into this, gathering your strength on the voyage. So, and it was, mid-morning by the time you actually set out from the ship. So you've only been pushing for about 8 hours by now. It's a pretty long day anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But it is late in the night when the peaks finally loom over you, and you are having a hard time seeing. The moon is covered by clouds, but it's so cold that every time you blink, you're having a hard time opening your eyes. And an accidental brush of your Eadric, a part of your face wraps kind of move, and as you turn your head, your skin touches the bare metal and the burning cold of it. You're all at the point of starting to be physically injured by the cold.
Got it. I'm
Eadric,
trying to look ahead.
I don't know if I can make it much further. Should we take?
I glance around for any cover at all.
You're at the base of of these rocky peaks. It's hard to make out much detail at all. There's tons of crags and things like that for sure. But you either need a way to get warm or you're going to need, if you're going to stay here and rest, you're going to need a way to get warm or use the frostbane, but that's only going to last for half a day.
Okay.
Are we on the ice still?
You the end of it. Like you're basically at the base of this island.
I look to Keeler and I say, can we make those crags and cut down on the wind or no?
Yes. I think I see ahead a place out of the wind. It won't be fully protected, but enough. We can warm, rest.
Ugh. I put my head down and just walk that way.
I can help with the fire, but we'll need some wood or something.
There's nothing in this place.
We must get there first. You'll see.
She has a kindling kind of shit.
All right, you guys push on. You start to kind of scamper up. Yeah, it's sloped everywhere. Your hands hurt as you have to like use your weight and press down on them, desperately moving forward. And you do kind of get up over one terrain feature, and there's a deep kind of cut, a draw that runs down towards the ocean where it's a little bit steeper, and you pile in at Keeler's lead. And it's not a cave. You're not inside anything. It's open sky over you. But there, you get to a spot where you're between two steep walls of stone on either side of you at the least.
It's something.
I can't go further.
Sit. Backs to the outside. Keep the stone in front. And I'll pull out my seal fat and pull some tufts of fur. And I'll mix them together. And Hoffman, light.
Oh, all right. Put it on the ground. Hoffman reluctantly pulls out his crossbow and like tries. He's like shaking his arm.
You're thinking you could burn that crossbow for a little bit, and man, your hands would feel nice over that burning crossbow.
And I'll cast Firebolt at it and shoot a flaming arrow into this seal fat.
Okay.
Roll to hit.
roll the one. That's
You're
it.
disadvantaged because you're shaking so bad.
Yeah.
It skits along the ice 100 yards away. You're gonna
I
go
take
get it.
my shield and I kind of wedge it in the rocks above the fire to kind of keep the heat down,
Okay.
keep the heat low.
Good idea. Eadric follows suit.
Make a little we make a little
Testudo?
tent.
Testudo?
A tiny testudo.
All right. So you get this thing lit up, and you're gonna spend the night here.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for fun.
We've all become
Everybody
gods,
make
madmen.
overnight one Constitution check with advantage.
Oh,
And this will determine if you have
that testudo,
a level of exhaustion going into the day tomorrow. DC 14.
Con check, you said?
nailed it.
19.
19 as well.
Oh, I rolled a 1 on the second die. So.
16.
Hoffman?
18.
Okay. All right. You make it through the night. Even though you all don't have a level of exhaustion, trust me, you're exhausted.
Yeah.
Sleep was, you were just too cold to take off armor, too cold to do anything except like close your eyes and fitfully fall asleep for 20 minutes and then wake up because you're so cold. You're just fucking shaking and you try to gather tighter together and try to find something else to burn. But it is a miserably long night. But the light finally comes the next morning and you start making your way further up the island. Dean,
It's only -10 today.
and Eadric's visions, they always kind of focused on the center of this place,
Right.
the center of these three peaks, and not knowing anything else, that's kind of all you have to go on. So you climb.
Oh, boy.
It's hard. Your hands and arms, not to beat a dead horse, but it is cold. and it's just hard to even find a grip. As you get further up the mountain, you realize, if anything, if it's even possible, it's getting colder. And you just get to a point where it's unsustainable. You look at each other, any skin is burning red from the cold.
As we're trudging along, I
We
say,
have to use the.
I say, in the capital, on Silk Street, there's a brothel. They heat the water with stones, and the women, oh, the women are warm too. I'm going to bring you there when this is over, Keeler.
I will hold you to that.
I can't take it anymore. He pulls out the frostbane and downs it.
Okay.
Hoffman does.
You're not supposed to drink it.
Or whatever.
He melts.
It's antifreeze, dude.
Tastes good.
It's a suppository. What are you doing?
You take it out, you drink it. You can't tell the color. You don't even take time to look at it, but it is it's like a slurry
Yeah.
as you drink it down, and it stings bad. It almost, if anything, it feels for a moment like that this cold is penetrating even deeper into your body. And then it's not like a warmth that flows through your veins. It's kind of like a cool numbness. The pain of the cold goes away. The awareness of it is still there. You don't feel warmer. It just doesn't hurt.
Almost like okay, finally someone's done it. I immediately
Adrian was thinking the same
oh,
thing.
nice, we get to take a break now. Oh, all right.
Everybody's big dicking it.
You look beat. Yeah. Put the shovel down. Want me to grab you a water?
I'm gonna hold
You look
off.
parched.
Keeler holding off.
Yeah.
Okay.
We each get one use.
One use.
We gotta come back through here.
Yeah, I got an 8 constitution. I'm gonna drink it too.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to hold off for a little bit,
All right.
and that's just because I'm following. You know, a month ago that might have been to compete with Keeler. Now I'm just realizing his wisdom in this weather. You
Okay.
know?
You continue to climb up. Avery and Hoffman, you feel much steadier now. And you, by early in the afternoon, you reach the saddle between these 3 peaks. You can make out the tips of 2 of them and kind of the shoulder of another. And you're kind of stuck here in the middle of these 3, and it's about as flat of a spot as you came to. Still craggy and broken, but you kind of pause and catch your breath. Keeler and Eadric, give me Constitution checks.
Saving throws.
Saving throws, yeah.
Let's save. 10.
You must have a good bonus though.
14.
6.
Wow.
14. Keeler, you take 6 points of cold damage. Eadric, you take 12. This is cumulative over the last few hours of chugging along.
Okay. Got it.
You look around and nothing noticeable at first, and then who has the highest perception? Probably.
Mine's
I have a
5.
I got a
I
plus
have a
5.
5 as well. We all
Everyone
have
have
5s.
Okay.
What the fuck? It's random.
Simultaneously, the 4 of you point. You look around, and it's such a monochrome environment. It's nothing but gray, white, and that's about it. The sky is either blue or black, depending on the time of day, and that's about all the color you have. And the way the shadows are falling, the sun is already kind of making its way down. So it takes a moment to notice that the darkness on one side of these peaks is not just shadow, but there is a maw. There's an opening into the side
I point.
of the mountain.
Shelter. I noticed you guys are all pointing too.
Yes, we saw it.
Duh.
Is this what you saw, Eadric?
I saw the peaks. That's all I can remember. Peaks and the.
Seeing that it is potentially shelter and not realizing that it's also pretty ominous, I kind of pick up the pace to get in there.
Okay. Everybody give me one of those perception checks. Roll that shit.
I'm making you motherfuckers.
I rolled a
roll.
1.
And say
That's a
as we approach, can I keep my eyes out for any kinds of bones?
Roll with advantage.
Thank God, because I
You're
rolled a
literally
1.
Bone ranger.
15. 16.
23.
23. All right. As you guys are approaching, it's hard to make it out, Matt. But you realize as you're kind of climbing over, there's a lot of loose stone, a lot of scree. And then you realize that some of it is actually bone shards. And as you move closer to the cave, you see kind of buried and mixed in with the rock bones, humanoid bones, mostly, maybe some animal.
It is death here. Look,
It's just gravel.
no. Bone shards.
How? What could have been here?
Maybe the cold killed them.
Why would they be here in the first place? There's nothing to eat.
People have tried. Other tribesmen have come, never returned.
I'm on the lookout for wampas. I don't want to get
Perhaps.
ambushed.
You got that one, so boom.
Hits me right in the side of the head.
Perhaps in this cave there is something.
Oh, no, they're bare.
Give me, if we find more, a corpse, some solid bones, I can tell you more.
All right, you guys move further in and you reach the mouth of this almost cavern, you would say. It's wide, maybe 20 feet around, and it's just kind of a hole and it starts to go down. It's a down slope that just goes into this island.
I follow, Keeler.
I've got my sword and shield out at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Kinda.
take a few steps in. It grows a little bit quiet. You stop. There's some skittering as some loose rock kick kind of falls down and clinks off things, and then the noise increases. This skittering, stone clacking, grinding, and it gets louder. And then you see movement all around you. Behind you, you see the stone moving, bones coming out from underneath it. As these shapes start to emerge, bone and stone and gravel come together, form in front of your eyes, out of the walls, out of the floor, outside the cavern, further in, and form into these humanoid shapes, these vaguely humanoid golems of stone and bone, and they move towards you. But we will find out how that goes next week.
So we're just going to talk to him and ask him where the shield is.
Diplomacy.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. Head over to do that on Apple Podcasts. Additionally, check us out on the web at nastygrampod.com. And if you want to check out really cool pictures of all the stuff we got going on in the studio, head over to Instagram at NastyGramRPG. Additionally, we've got some intro music provided by Wilhelm Scream and some outro music by Creepin' Cadavers. Scores by Adrian von Ziegler. Also, don't forget to check out LibertyStreetGeek.net. Yes, that's LibertyStreetGeek.net, folks. That's my project, and I'm going to pimp it a little extra hard today. All kinds of podcasts over there that you're missing out on, and that birthed this goddamn mess you're listening to. Ha ha! All right, we are out of here. Thanks so much, guys.
That's nasty.